Right, hello, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under today. Yes, it has been a slowish news day, but we are instead looking at the 4 players who Celtic fans should look out for in the second half of the season. Before we go any further though, if you guys are enjoying the content and you want to help support the channel, the very best way to do so is to click that like button and click that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into it. So before the video starts, naturally, commiserations to Josip Juranovic on his World Cup campaign. I probably should have done this yesterday, but nonetheless, it is still here, and it fell short at the hands of the greatest player of all time in Leo Messi. But making the semi-finals is still a massive accomplishment, especially with a Croatian side. Not many people tipped to go that far. Still, as well, the possibility to place third. But back to the main topic of the video, the 4 players Celtic fans should be looking out for in the second half of the season. And straight off the bat, it has to be Callum McGregor. He's missed half of the opening half of the season already, so a quarter of the season in total. He's had an extended break, but he's also been putting in the extra miles, rehabbing and getting back up to speed. And if he stays, touch wood, injury-free for the rest of the season, he will be pivotal in this Celtic squad and driving and, leading this Celtic squad to our 53rd Scottish Premiership. This time last season, it was Operation Catch-Up. Fast forward a year, it is now Operation Don't Slip Up. Now, if there's any player to lead us to the title, it is, of course, the captain. It's Cal Mack. He's a big game player. He is experienced. He is cool. He is calm. He's collected. And despite us coping very well without him so far in this season, there's still a whole half to go. We can't let ourselves get ahead of ourselves. We can't think the league is already wrapped up. I'm sure Ange doesn't by any means, but maybe some of the players might slack off, think, 9 points, I forgot how many points we are clear. We're either 9 or 10. Oh boy, that is embarrassing. Anyways, still, it's not that embarrassing as it is for Rangers because they are a significant amount of points behind. Anyways, Callum McGregor is the player to lead us to the title. If he stays injury-free, like I said, touch wood, Celtic will well be on our way to our 53rd title. It's not so much his experience either. It's the fact that he's probably Celtic's best player. He won best player of the season last year. It's it's just something. Just Callum McGregor, we all know how pivotal he is going to be to the squad, and I thought no better way to kick off the video than talking about him. Now, next up, we have the X Factor, Jota. He absolutely reeks of skill, class, competitiveness and determination. So far this season, Jota has featured 17 times for Celtic competitively. In those 17 matches, he scored 7 and assisted 6, a goal and assist ratio that reflects the £6 million we paid for him. Now, a goal and assist tally that is also, mind you, basically half of what he had earned last season. Now, so far, Jota this season has been great. Absolutely amazing. There have been times where his performances have been underwhelming. There have been some performances that have been absolutely extraordinary, especially in Europe. But expect in the second half of the season, he will well and truly shine. This time last season, Jota was injured. And in the later stages of January, he was returning from his injury. He was criticised, however, for not hitting the heights that he had in the first half of last season. But after the extended break, we should see the same Jota as we did at the start of last and at the end of last season. Because if you don't remember, at the end of last season, Jota was absolutely phenomenal. And after the extended break, he's had time to rest up. And that sharpness he possesses, that skillfulness, the ruthless nature of him, the clinicalness in front of goal, that will all be there. I have no doubt in my mind. He is certainly a player to look out for in the second half of the season because, like at the end of the day, Kyogo, he just scores goals. It's as simple as that. He helps in the build-up here and there, but he's a goal scorer. Jacku Marcus, no matter where his future is, he is a goal scorer. The players who create the chances are the wingers and the attacking midfielders, and Jota, by all means, creates chances for himself and for others. He is selfish and selfless in the same boat. That is what you need as a footballer. Now, we talked about the left wing in Jota. Let's move to the right wing. Sed Haksabanovic, a player who is slowly becoming one of my favourites at Celtic. He arrived, as we all know, on a cut price deal from Ruben Kazan after underwhelming move in Russia. That was also, how do we say, unfortunately affected by some political and world order events. Now, Haksabanovic is a completely different winger and a completely different dynamic to any of Celtic's other wingers. He is not only pacey, as he is extremely strong on the ball. You know, Jota, Dyson, Abada, James E. Forrest, they've all got pace, they've all got some skill to them, but they don't have the same strength and physicality that Haksabanovic possesses. He is uncanny as well for his height and for his build. Uncanny amount of strength, if you ask me. And while his stats may not reflect his performances, he did start off slow at Celtic, but in the final few games before we headed off to the World Cup break, he was really playing at a high level. And when Celtic came down to Sydney, I've just knocked my laptop, and that's why you see the light flashing, because of my ring light anyways. And when, as I was saying, Celtic came down to Sydney and played in the Sydney Super Cup in that unfortunate 2-1 loss to Sydney FC, Haksabanovic was our best player. You know, and while think of that as you will, it was against an A-League team and half the players were fatigued, still, as he is only 23, something I completely forgot. I thought he was 27. When writing this up, I wrote up my script and I was like, 27 years old, and I had to double check it, 23 years old, crazy, I know. Anyways, he has the maturity of a 28-year-old, but certainly a star in the making for Celtic, without a shadow of doubt in my mind. He is top quality. Now, fourth and finally, we've looked at two attackers, we've looked at a midfielder. Now, in the spirit of Christmas giving, let's have a look at the defence. Greg Taylor and CCV have both been phenomenal. Jens has been filling the void as well as any other player could. Starfelt absolutely riddled by injuries. Juranovic is on his way out, most likely, so that leaves us with the new boy, I'd say. Alistair Johnston, unveiled to the media a couple nights ago, and a player who really does embody that Celtic spirit and that passion. Now, this is all, of course, speculative, but if Juranovic is to leave in January, it will throw Johnston right into the deep end. Not straight away, because we have a few matches before January, and Johnston officially cannot play for Celtic until January, but I think Alistair Johnston will pip Ralston to that starting right-back spot, give or take maybe 4 or 5 games after he starts getting integrated into this Celtic team, you know. Greg Taylor has been a man on a mission this season on the left back. You know, Alexandro Bernabei hasn't even had a look in at that spot. You know, a couple rotational games, but not once has he pressured Greg Taylor for that spot. We need the same competition on the right. You know, if Juranovic is to leave, Johnston and Ralston have to be fighting each other. Literally bare knuckle sandwiches to each other, trying to get that starting right back squad, because as we all know, the fullbacks are the most pivotal part of Ange's setup. The wing backs, you know, they have to overlap. They have to help in the attack. They have to invert as well. They are literally everywhere. They literally act as second, not even fourth and fifth midfielders. They are so pivotal. If the wing backs aren't doing their job in Ange's system, you know, the cogs fall out, the pieces fall out, the whole thing ruins and doesn't work. But like I said, expect big things from Johnston, because a lot of players come in and the talent is there, but they're not obsessed with Celtic. They haven't got that obsession to drive themselves to play better. He has that obsession. Now it's just about refining the talent and really making his mark in this Celtic squad. And I'm all here for it. He's won over the fans completely. Let's see what he can do on the pitch. But that is all from me. So if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments below your thoughts on all these players, and are there any other players I missed that we should be looking out for in the second half of the season. And until next time, hail, hail.